A very good afternoon to everyone. Good evening, Shivangi and everyone who is watching me. So, numbers is about to finish in the paid batch, isn't it? But as we'll be starting with arithmetic the next week, I'm not going to teach you everything about time, speed, distance. Obviously, it will be covered in 4 different sessions, but this will be an orientation of time, speed, and distance. All right. So, confirm the audio and the video once, everyone. And properly audible, properly visible. And today, and there's one thing which is kind of obvious, commonsensical, that all of us have studied time, speed, and distance till standard 10th, isn't it? So, a lot of you already know about it. Then what is the extra that I'm going to do here? A lot of people must have forgotten, but majorly people have a fair idea about this. It's not some pure mathematics or very complex. Okay. Ram, really? Okay, so, yeah. Today, I'll be showing a very different perspective to you guys. So, more than time, speed, and distance, I'll tell you how different variables coexist, correlate, and behave with each other. So, first thing first, there are just 2 types of relationships in the world. People who will be watching me right now or will be coming just now and look at this slide, they would be thinking that I'm going to give some philosophical motivation. Who will think it's mathematics? So anyone who will tell me that what are those 2 relationships in the world? Maths is a language. It's not a subject. It's not a science. It's a language. It's art. So human beings can have 2 kinds of relationships, isn't it? One is friends. Other is enemies. Obviously, we have family, parents, siblings, relatives, etc. But we can behave, depending on how they behave with us, we can essentially categorize people in 2 different groups, that is friends and enemies. Now friends will be like this. And enemies will be like this. Do you understand this here? Friends, enemies. False, still चलो बात की बातें हैं. But majorly there are 2 classifications. Yes or no? So this emoji shows that friends are happy together. Alright, enemies, if one is happy, other will be sad. Right? Okay, so basically the behavior of friends and enemies, it keeps on changing, or I can say varying. What is variation? Vary, changes, right? There is one more classification of humans or relations, that is people who are always constant. Never sad, never happy. Hi Arjun. Do you understand this? Things that vary are known as variables, and things that do not vary, whatever happens, they are constants. So we have a relation with the people who vary. Okay. Is that clear? All of you got the fair idea of it? Well, let us have a mathematical point of view here. Mathematical POV, point of view. So, if we have, let's say, 2 variables, x and y, they can have a direct relation, or they can have an inverse relation. All right. Hey Shubham, this is K-pop. Okay. So if x increases, y will also increase. And if x decreases, y will also decrease. Just like happiness or sadness between friends. If x increases, y will decrease here. If x decreases, y will increase here. Isn't it? Right. Got it. Hey Neelu, you seem very excited. Good evening. So I hope this is clear. By the way, the moment we establish a relation between two variables, the very next step would transform this relation into an equation. How? Let's look at that. So the first one is direct variation. So x is directly proportional to y. Now, if I want to create an equation out of it, I will bring y to the left hand side. The moment I do it, it will be x upon y. Y यहाँ आएगा तो नीचे चला जाएगा denominator में, isn't it? So x upon y, this thing would always be equal to some kind of constant. Alright? For example, distance and speed. Yes or no? So distance and speed are directly proportional. More the speed, more the distance. Less the speed, less the distance. But the condition is time should be constant. Do you understand this or not? One more relation. Distance and time, they are also directly proportional when speed is constant. There is no rocket science to understand these two things. So let's say if I'm traveling for only 1 hour at a speed of 40, I'll be traveling 40 kilometers. At a speed of 60, I'll be traveling 60 kilometers. Right? Because time is 1 hour. In this case, if I'm traveling at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour, and if I travel for 1 hour, I'll be traveling 60 kilometers. If I travel for 2 hours, I'll be traveling 120 kilometers. So more the speed, more the distance, more the time, more the distance. Is that cool? Is that clear, everyone? Any doubts? Floyd. Shubham, are you sure? Think about it. I just gave you an example. Let's say I'm traveling for only 1 hour. So if my speed is 20 kilometers per hour, I'll be traveling only 20 kilometers. But if my speed is 30 kilometers per hour, I'll be traveling 30 kilometers. Okay, Shubham. Now, having said that, let us try to establish proper relations. So x, y, as I said, it's in direct proportionality, which means x upon y is a constant. So can I say, now x and y are variables. Let's say x becomes x1 at one point of time, and simultaneously y becomes y1. X becomes x2, y becomes y2. So can I say that x1 by y1 will be equal to x2 by y2? Yes or no? This is important. Ashish, we'll talk about that later on. But is this clear? So x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, there can be different situations. Situation 1, situation 2, situation 3, in which x is assuming different values. And simultaneously, y will assume different values, y1, y2, y3, and so on. But the main thing is, because they're in direct proportion, their quotient will always be constant. When I say quotient, you know what is quotient? What we obtain when we divide certain things. So x upon y is a quotient. This quotient is going to be constant, right? So I can just extend this idea. X1 upon y1 is equal to x2 upon y2. Let's say x becomes x3, x3 upon y3, and so on. Keeps on happening. xn upon yn. Right? I'm assuming that you are making the notes, aren't you? This is just one way of looking at it. I can also say here, by cross multiplying, x1 upon x2 will be equal to y1 upon y2. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. So all of you got that, isn't it? All of you got that. X1 upon x2 is equal to y1 upon y2. Nice. For example, if time is constant, then distance 1 upon distance 2 will be equal to speed 1 upon speed 2. Is that right? Yes or no? मानसी कोई बात नहीं, ये तुम ये देख लो, तुम्हें प्रीवियस नॉन इंजीनियर्स क्वांट देखने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, ये बहुत ही बेसिक समझा रहा हूँ मैं. ऑलराइट, दिस इज क्लियर. और व्हेन स्पीड इज कांस्टेंट, then this ratio of distances traveled in two different instances will be equal to the ratio of the times. That's also good. Yeah, perfect. Nice. Chalo. Now, the next is second, inverse variation. We also call it proportion. So x is inversely proportional to y. That means if I bring y here, it will be multiplying with x. So x multiplied by y will always be a constant. Or I can say the product of x and y will always be constant. Which means x1 upon x2 would be equal to y2 upon y1. यहाँ देखो उल्टा हो गया. In case of direct, it was x1 upon x2 was y1 upon y2, but here it is x1 by x2 is y2 by y1. Okay, so for example, speed is inversely proportional to time when distance is constant. So speed 1 upon speed 2 must be equal to time 2 upon time 1. Is that clear? Ashish, is that so? That's a good thing, right? Oh, thanks Augustus for saying that. मानसी, समझ में आ गया पूरा ये? बस दो ही बातें हैं. If two variables are in direct variation, their quotient will be constant, and if two variables are in inverse variation, their product will be constant. x1 into y1 is x2 into y2. Just that. So note it down somewhere. I'm repeating. If the quotient of two variables is constant, the variables are in direct proportion, direct variation, and if the product of two variables is constant, the variables are in inverse variation. And there can be multiple variables like that, but today we are doing time, speed and distance. That's why I'm taking example of the time, speed and distance only and nothing else. This will be applicable in time and work also. Okay, so we'll do that when we start with time and work. Cool. So without doing much about it, let us try to solve a few questions. But before that, we need to understand the units that are used. So, distance, speed, time. Units used: kilometers or meters. Time, hour or seconds. Speed, kilometers per hour or meters per second. Now they can, kind of change the units to minutes also, depending on the questions. But these three are generally, universally, most widely used units. All right. So, if I say what will be equivalent of 1 kilometer per hour, 1 kilometer per hour, I want to convert it to meter per second. So how many meters do we have in 1 kilometer? Anyone? It's 1000 meters. And in 1 hour, how many seconds do we have? 1 hour has 60 minutes and each minute has 60 seconds. So this is what we get. Let us cancel out things. So we have 2 5s are 10, 2 3s are 6, 5 by 18 meters per second. That's what we got. Which means we can generally say that if I want to convert kilometer per hour to meter per second, I need to multiply it by 5 by 18. And if I want to come back from meter to kilometer, I'm multiplying it by 18 by 5. Just the inverse of it. Cool. So all these things are, I would say, pretty much obvious. There's no reason to worry about it. Okay? Now let us do some magic. By the way, by now, you must have realized certain things. So let me summarize them all and go to the questions, a few questions. I'll erase this. So we can have three different interpretations. First, distance is constant. Distance is constant. So speed 1 upon speed 2 will be equal to time 2 upon time 1. Second, speed is constant. Distance 1 upon distance 2 would be equal to time 1 upon time 2. Third, time is constant. Distance 1 upon distance 2 must be equal to speed 1 upon speed 2. Yes, Samyak. Okay? And combining it all, I can just say that distance is equal to speed multiplied by time. That's all. Now, in time, speed, distance, we also have relative speeds. We have escalators. So all those things we won't be covering today because the agenda of this session is to create the fundamentals, revise things that you did as kids, and create a proper foundation of what you're going to do in the paid batch. Cool. Written, everyone? Let us do the first question. So, because there are close to 70 people here, the time is, for every question you'll get 2 minutes. Time starts now. Do it. So you will be solving three questions in close to 7 minutes. After that, I'll be solving it with you guys. All right, so I think all of you have solved it. Let us go to the second one. Also type question number while answering, question 1, answer this, question 2, answer this, and so on. There are no options here. It's a theta question. The third question here. Nikkei, are you Aniket? You have a nice sense of humor, huh? All right. Let's do it. By the way, the session's name is Smartest Approach, isn't it? Okay, let's do it now. And the first thing which comes to people's mind is solving it in a simple way. By the way, Nikkei, Aniket, I think, Nikkei. So you answered 360. First half of the journey and second half. What does it mean? What's first half? What is first half? So if the distance is, let's say, 2D, it's talking about D. Yeah, again, I'm watching the chat. D and D, right? So I can assume total distance to be 2D. Is that fine? I can do that? Okay. So what happens, this guy travels the first half, that is the first half of the distance, at a speed of 15 kilometers per hour. So time taken for the first half is D by 15, yes or no? And time taken for the second half will be D by 45. That's right. Looks good, everyone? And if I add this, I should get 12. All of you understood this? Yes or no? Do you understand this? Yes, right. I have assumed the distance to be 2D. So the answer that I want to find must be 2D. This is what we need to find. Not D, but 2D. So once we get the value of D, I'll just double it. The same. Okay, after that, now there are multiple ways to do it. One is the normal way. Take the LCM, 45, and then you have 3D plus D is equal to 12, right? Which means 4D is equal to 12 by 12 into 45, right? And then you calculate D. 4 3s are 12, 3 into 45. So we have, distance has 135, but the answer will be double of it. So we mark 270. Clear? All of you have done it. This is a normal approach, which everybody will do. And obviously, this is not the kind of question which will come in CAT, but just to make the fundamentals, the concept clear, this is okay. Everyone is okay with this? When I say the smartest approach, name क्या है सेशन का? Smartest approach. तो मैं स्मार्ट अप्रोच कैसे करूं यार? मैं सोच रहा हूँ ये उसमें लिखा हुआ है स्मार्टेस्ट अप्रोच पर 99.93% iler. एक तो ये मेरे नाम पे लिख देते हैं ये वाला, है ना? और मेरे में बनता है प्रेशर कि मुझे स्मार्ट दिखना पड़ेगा, तो मैं स्मार्ट कपड़े पहन लेता हूँ. ओके चलो एक काम करते हैं. एक काम करते हैं. Before even writing this equation, there is one thing which I can see clearly. You know what? That 45 is 3 times 15. Yes or no? 45 is 3 times 15, which means this guy will be 3 times of this guy. Yes or no? Is that right? Does it make sense? D by 15 जो होगा वो 3 times होगा D by 45 के. Right? Yes or no? Everybody tell me in the comments. Yes. इसका ट्रिपल ही तो है ये. और ये दो चीजें हैं. These two things must add up to 12. So I need to break 12 into 2 parts such that one part is triple of the other. कितना सिंपल हो गया. 12 के 2 parts. 9 plus 3. So this guy, you know, the first guy must be 9, the second guy must be 3. काम ही खत्म हो गया. ये 9 कब होगा? 15 9s are 135. ये 3 कब होगा? 45 3s are 135. The same thing. The answer is 270. So without even writing anything, I could have done it just by looking at the question. So regular तो नहीं होती, लेकिन हाँ परसों भी है एक averages की. How cool is this? आया मजा? All of you got that? Yes, Samyak. Good. इस तरह का अप्रोच बन जाएगा थोड़े दिनों में, and you can do these things mentally. Obviously, this will be a very small part of a big question. नेहा 45 खुद 3 times है, but D by 45 जो है वो 1/3 होगा D by 15 का, है ना? 45 डिवीजन में है. ओके नेहा, चलो लेट्स गो टू द नेक्स्ट वन. Here we go. Time difference to cover certain distance at speeds 12 and 15 is 20 minutes. Distance in kilometers. Okay, चलो ठीक है. So speed 1 upon speed 2 must be equal to time 2 upon time 1. Yes. पहले स्पीड थी 12, बाद में हो गई 15. ठीक है. So this is the value of T2 by T1. All right. I can cancel this out. 3 4s are 3 5s are. So I can say T2 by T1 is equal to how much? 4 by 5. All right. तो अब ये समझने की बात है. In the world of ratios, time 2 is equivalent to 4 units and time 1 is equivalent to 5 units. All right. So the gap between these two guys is 1 unit. Yes or no? In the world of ratios. In the units of ratios. अब ratio क्या represent कर रहा है यहाँ पे? It is representing the time. So the gap which is 1 unit for us is 20 minutes in the real world. So 1 unit here would be equal to 20 minutes in the real world. Looks good? Looks good, everyone? So, time 2, that is 4 units, would be equal to 80 minutes in the real world. And time 1, which is equal to 5 units in the ratios, must be equal to 5 in 20, 100 minutes in the real world. Looks good, right? 80 minutes क्या होता है in terms of hours? 80 upon 60. It's equal to 4 by 3 hours. This is 100 upon 60. Equal to 5 by 3 hours. Yes or no? Perfect. अब यहां बात है कि तुम टाइम 1 निकाल लो, टाइम 2 निकाल लो, जो मन निकाल लो, कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है. Whatever you want to calculate, whatever comes to your mind first. We need to calculate distance. Now that is something, which is very easy. So our speed 1 was 12, speed 2 was 15. अगर मैं यहाँ पे speed 1 ले लूँगा तो time 1 ले लूँगा. My answer is S1 T1 or S2 T2, whatever I want to calculate. So 12 into 5 by 3 is my answer, or 15 into 4 by 3 is my answer. दोनों केस में 20 आएगा. 20 kilometers is the answer. Nice. This can be done orally. मजा आ गया? देखो यहाँ मैं पहले बोल रहा था कि फंडामेंटल से टाइम स्पीड डिस्टेंस के जो मेन फंडामेंटल्स है वो रेशियोज के हैं. रेशियो समझता है इंसान, वो अरिथमेटिक का तो बाप बन जाता है. सुना कई बार होगा, बट आज देख रहे हो टाइम एंड वर्क, टाइम स्पीड डिस्टेंस, सबको हम रेशियो से ऐसे ही खेल लेंगे. यस आयुष्मान, ऑल ऑफ यू गॉट इट. बट नॉर्मली पीपल कॉन्वेंशनली ये पता क्या करते हैं, आमतौर पे आम जनता क्या करती है? आम जनता क्या करेगी? आम जनता बोलेगी कि 12 किलोमीटर पे मान लो उसको लगा t + 20/60 और 15 पे लगा t. इन दोनों को इक्वेट कर देंगे, t निकाल लेंगे, आंसर निकाल लेंगे, राइट? दिस इज normal zindagi. What we did earlier was Mentos zindagi. We could have done it just by looking at the question. Yes or no? All of you got that? So by the time we start arithmetic next week in the paid batch, I would like all of you to go through this entire session once again. ठीक है, ये कर सकते हैं, या जो अभी साम्यक ने बोला वो भी कर सकते हैं. That d/12 minus d/15 will be equal to 20/60. Multiple ways to do it, but जो मैंने पहले किया था वो हम मेंटली भी कर सकते हैं. Coming to the next question. Aeroplane travels certain distance 180 in 5 hours to cover same distance in 3 hours. ठीक है, तो 5/3 must be equal to x/180. That's it. Do you understand what I did here? Time 1 upon time 2 must be equal to speed 2 upon speed 1. Nothing else. And we got the answer. इतने पे ही हो गया, देखते ही हो गया, क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई भी नहीं करना. 180 is 60 times 3, so x will be 60 times 5, that is 300, and we got the answer. Cool though? All of you got that? So many people, and I can see comments of only 5 or 6 people. Tell me in the comments. Make it interactive. Make it look like an offline class so that I can just imagine your faces. I want to see that, that fire of fascination. So now, as you know that how we are using ratios, I'll expect you to do things in the same way for the next 3 questions. 2 minutes each. Okay? Ready? Chalo. मजा आएगा. Before that, I think you know this or not, there is CAT 25 batch starting the arithmetic, the new batch. I think Samyak was asking about that. And here, these are faculty members. All of you know about them, right? This guy in curly hair is me. I was thin 2 years back. Now I'm fat. I really hate that. But anyways, and apart from us, there will be some mentors headed by Deepak Agarwal, one of my colleagues. He's from IIM Bangalore. And rest of students, your seniors who were there for the last 1 or 2 years with iQUANTA, they'll be guiding you throughout your preparation journey. Maybe it can be the questions, not obviously the questions. Any doubt which is non-academic, the life at top B schools, life after MBA and all that stuff is there. So arithmetic forms the largest portion. Having said that, let's go to the next question. Here we go. नेहा जज्बात सब बदल गए. चलो. All right. Let's see. Speed 1 upon speed 2 must be equal to distance 1 upon distance 2. Is that clear? Because speed and time and distance are directly proportional, isn't it? It says fixed period of time. When it says fixed, it means it is talking about constant, right? No need to explain that. It's quite obvious. Yes or no? Fixed मतलब constant हो गया. Change ही नहीं हो रहा. Time उतना का उतना ही है. So speed and time will be directly proportional. So first the speed was 9, now the speed is 6. Okay. So 9 by 6 is the, what I can say, the ratio is basically 3 by 2. So distance 1 upon distance 2, the ratio is 3 by 2. Alright. And the magical world of ratios, what's the difference? 1 unit. 1 unit in the world of ratios is equivalent to 12 kilometers in the real world. हमें कौन सा निकालना है? ज़्यादा स्पीड पे वो कितना चला? मतलब ज़्यादा डिस्टेंस 3 वाला. So if 1 is equal to 3, then 3 units must be equal to 3 into 12 is 36 kilometers. That's it. How many of you did this way? And felt like this afterwards? Who did it this way? Very good. Road to billions. What's your name? एक तो नाम road to billions. No problem, Samyak, but did you guys do it this way? And is this cool, you know, a smart method to solve things quickly? Second one. Now, you know what? A man is considered to be a point object. Point object naam suna hoga bachpan mein na, point object. Like an object that has got no dimension. Uski length or breadth ko hum kuch nahi manenge. So let's say this is a man, he is standing over here, and then a train comes traveling at a speed of, it's given as 90 kilometers per hour. Okay. Now when this train will cross the man, I cannot show the animation, but you can realize the moment the train crosses the man, the train will be here, isn't it? Okay. So when the train crossed the man, the distance traveled by the train was actually its own length, isn't it? कैसे मालूम पड़ेगा? देखो ये बहुत important बात है. Like how you can, you know, interpret this information. This is the front end of the train. This is the rear end of the train. Okay. Here this is the rear end. This is the front end. So front to front, yeah, rear to rear. That is how you will see it. All right, Samyak. Is that clear, everyone? So while interpreting the information, you will see that front to front kitna travel hua, ya fir rear to rear kitna travel hua. Ultimately, if you see this line, it's equal to train's length. This line equal to train's length. So distance traveled by the train is its own length. And distance is equal to speed multiplied by time. That's we know. So distance, speed here is in terms of kilometer per hour, while time is in terms of seconds. So the units are important. Let's convert kilometers per hour into meter per second. So 90 multiplied by 5 by 18, which we did earlier also. And time is 14. 18 5s are, so answer is 350 meters. Is that clear? This interpretation, do you understand? This is important. This is a basic question, but in the questions which can be difficult, complex on trains, it can actually help you. When there are two trains, when there's a train and a bridge, train and a platform, in those cases, this will be a nice way to look at the question. Clear or not? Tell me in the comments. Be quick. Now here we go. While going to office, Atul travels at a speed of 24 km per hour, and on his way back, he travels at a speed of 36 किलोमीटर पर आवर. तो मैंने ये ध्यान दिया, कुछ लोग का आंसर 30 आया है. श्रद्धा गॉट 30, देव दत्ता गॉट 30, lot of people got 30. Just like cute people, you must have done it like this 20. एवरेज निकालना है, ऐड कर दो, डिवाइड बाई 2 कर दो, है ना, दो चीजें हैं, 30 आ गया होगा, है ना. So this is done by the cute people. You know what? Life is not that straight. It's wrong interpretation. I'll tell you why. So first of all, before telling you how to calculate this, let me tell you what do we mean by average speed. Okay? समझना इस बात को सब लोग. Everybody pay attention. हम सब लोगों ने एक चीज़ देखी होगी अपनी लाइफ में, या सुनी होगी. हम ऐसा बोलते हैं, लेट्स से इट्स वेरी नॉर्मल फॉर मी टू go from Gurugram. I live in Gurgaon and I go to Rishikesh quite often. It's like my second home. Right? I saw some pundir over here. Gadwali. Okay? So, and those people who travel to anywhere, NCR वाले तो ज़्यादा ऋषिकेश ही पहुँचते हैं, है ना, उनके लिए वो बस एक वीकेंड गेट अवे है. Yes or no? Right. So Rishikesh is exactly 263 kilometers from where I'm standing, but let's say it's 250 kilometers away. सुना लोग क्या बोलते हैं, ऋषिकेश जाना है ना, 5 घंटे में पहुंच जाओगे. शुभम नहीं, ज़्यादा नहीं होगी, बस यूनिट चेंज हो गई. All of you understand this. ये निकिता, हाय. So हम बोलते हैं यार 5 घंटे में पहुंच जाएंगे. हम ये क्यों बोल पाते हैं? Anyone? Because we assume that our average speed will be 50 kilometers per hour. Right? That's our assumption. So we just divide 250 by 50 and we say यार 5 घंटे में पहुंच जाओगे. Isn't it? इसका यही मतलब है ना? Yes or no? Okay? So ये तो यही मतलब है. पर क्या इसका मतलब ये है कि तुम जैसे ही सोचते हो ऋषिकेश जाने के लिए, अपनी गाड़ी में बैठते हो और बैठते ही तुम एकदम से एक्सीलरेटर दबाते हो और तुम्हारी स्पीड गाड़ी शुरू होते ही 50 किलोमीटर हो जाती है. सामने गेट आता है, उसे तोड़ देते हो, टर्न लेते हो 50 की स्पीड से, सीधा चलते हो 50 की स्पीड से, रास्ते में गड्ढा आ गया 50 की स्पीड है, स्पीड ब्रेकर है 50 की स्पीड है, घास आ गई 50 की स्पीड, सामने गाय बकरी भैंस आ गई 50 की स्पीड में उड़ा देते हो लोगों को, टक्कर मारते हुए, फोड़ते तोड़ते, पहाड़ पे 50 किलोमीटर रहते हो. क्या ये मतलब है इसका? कि भाई हमें 50 पे ही चलना है. शुभम कह रहा है हाँ यही मतलब है. ये मतलब नहीं है ना इस बात का कि 50 पे मेरी स्पीड, एवरेज स्पीड 50 है, 50 पे रखूंगा मैं तो. दैट इज नॉट इवन पॉसिबल. व्हेन यू स्टार्ट योर व्हीकल इट विल बी एट 0, go on to 50. There will be possibilities when the road is smooth and you will travel at maybe 100 kilometers per hour. Isn't it? There are possibilities when you have to wait. रेड लाइट आ गई सामने, है ना, जैम लग गया, 0 पे आ गए, कहीं तुम 10 की स्पीड पे हो, कहीं तुम 100 की स्पीड से हो, अल्टीमेटली आपका 50 स्पीड आता है ना. क्रूज कंट्रोल. या सो द पीपल हु added 24 and 36 and then divide by 2, वो लोग पता क्या काम कर रहे थे? वो ये काम कर रहे थे कि हम 50 स्पीड चलेंगे, सामने कोई भी आए. युवराज समझ में आया ना? ये एग्जाम्पल रिलेटेबल है. तो जो लोग सोचते हैं ऐसा, वो लोग ये कर सकते हैं, डिवाइड कर सकते हैं. बट द प्रॉब्लम इज दैट स्पीड इज अ हार्मोनिक क्वांटिटी. यू नो व्हाट इज अ हार्मोनिक क्वांटिटी? स्पीड is a harmonic, which means speed is a quantity which is calculated with respect to time. जो भी चीज टाइम पे बेस्ड होगी, रेट है. स्पीड इज अ रेट. Whatever thing is a rate is a harmonic quantity, rate of change, you know. So what is speed? Can I say speed is the rate of change of distance? Yes or no? right? Yes or no? So any quantity that is called a rate, in physics, if you remember, there's a thing called frequency. What was frequency? 1 upon time, right? Frequency is also a rate of change. So whenever there is a rate with respect to time, it's a harmonic quantity. For that, we need to calculate the harmonic mean. It's not the arithmetic mean. All right? There are multiple types of mean which I'll teach you in algebra. Arithmetic mean is there, harmonic mean is, geometric mean is also there. There is root mean square as well. We'll go into that once we start with algebra. But right now you understood? So we won't be calculating arithmetic mean of harmonic quantities. Okay, having said that, if I talk it in a normal layman's term, आम भाषा में average speed is equal to total distance traveled. Total distance traveled upon total time taken. बस 250 किलोमीटर दूर ऋषिकेश है, 50 की स्पीड मेरी एवरेज रहेगी, मैं 5 घंटे पहुंच जाऊंगा. या फिर 250 किलोमीटर है, 5 घंटे पहुंचना है, तो एवरेज स्पीड 50 की होनी चाहिए. Is that clear? So let us try to derive a formula for that. Now everyone pay attention. Whenever there are two instances in which people travel equal distance, for example, onward and return journey, you go from your office to the home, when you come back from your home to the office in the morning and come back to home from your office, in your case college, in all that okay, Zamek. So in all of it, we are just doing an onward return journey. Distance is constant. मतलब अगर मैं सुबह अपने घर से ऑफिस गया तो जो दूरी थी ऑफिस की उतनी ही रहेगी, शाम को जब वापस आऊँगा चेंज तो हो नहीं जाएगी. So whenever we have onward return journey, distance is same. So let's say distance was d from one side and from the other side it was d again. So total distance traveled is d plus d. And let's say my speed in onward journey was a units and while returning it was b. So time taken will be this. Is that clear? Total distance d plus d. Total time is d upon a plus d upon b. Cool. Now let me solve it. I'll have 2d upon dab upon db plus da whole upon ab. Is that right? We can solve it. We can take d common and d cancels out. So all we have is 2ab upon a plus b. This is the formula for harmonic mean of two quantities, that is a and b. Is that clear, everyone? We just derived the formula. सबको बात समझ में आ गई? 2ab upon a plus b. वहाँ iQUANTA का लोगो लगा दिखाई नहीं दे रहा होगा, मैं यहाँ लिख देता हूँ. 2ab upon a plus b is the average, is the harmonic mean of two quantities. In this case, it's average speed. Clear? Perfect. So, देखो arithmetic में ना एक बात है. Arithmetic is very much like, we can have relatable examples here. Always. So 2 multiplied by 24 multiplied by 36 whole upon 24 plus 36 will be your answer. So let's calculate that. Upon 60. 6 into 10, 6 into 6, 2 into 3, 2 into 5. That's all we have. Do we have anything else? Not really. 2, 24, 48. 48 into 3 is how much? 144. 144 upon 5 is 28.8 if I'm not wrong. 28.8 kilometers per hour will be your average speed. केवल 4-5 लोग ही बात कर रहे हैं, जैसे साम्यक, टेडी, जतिन, ये मेरे याद हो गए नाम इनके. आयुष्मान, एक अभी निक्के था चला गया. शुभम, others. Got it? Here we have the next question. Road to billions, yes. Nice. Now, I think this question requires a lot of further details because we haven't learned relative speeds yet. So I think I require a blank slide. चलो, और इसको मैं कर दूंगा ब्लैक. Perfect. या नो प्रॉब्लम. मैं जानता हूँ कि बहुत लोग को ये चीज़ नहीं आती, इसलिए अभी ये हुआ गया, मैंने कुछ गड़बड़ कर दी है. नो प्रॉब्लम, आई विल हैव टू अनडू इट. ओके, आई विल यूज ब्लैक इंक. वेल, सो let's try to understand the fabulous concept of relative speed. Okay, so there are two cases here. Case 1, case 2. Case 1. Two objects move independently. All right. And case 2, one object moves over another. Can you guys think of an example? Move independently. Examples are two trains, right? Trains, runners, है ना? Racing हो रही है. Cars in car racing. So, to get a multiple example, two objects are moving independently, right? So the motion of one is not affecting the motion of the other. ये बात समझ में आ गई है सबको? And when I move on another object, this is the case when, let's say, boats moves over streams, river, pool, or whatever. Swimmers, do you get that? Swimmers in, again, streams. Your example, airplanes in air, Okay? Do you understand this? Teddy, exactly. So in the second case, the motion of stream is going to affect the motion of boats or the swimmers, or the motion of air is going to affect the motion of airplanes as well. This is going to happen, right? All right, is that clear? So in case 1, there will be 2 sub cases. The direction is same and when the direction is opposite. All right. So let's say, and we can imagine this. There's no need to, kind of think much about it. So in the same direction, the relative speed will be a minus b. I'll explain that to you. And in opposite, it will be a plus b. Okay. Where I'm assuming that a is greater than b. A and b are speeds. तो सब लोग ध्यान से सुनो एक बात को. Those, I'll make it very simple, very fundamental. So let's say I am running at a speed of 30 kilometers per hour. Okay? 30 kilometers per hour. And let me take one more person for example, who can be Anurag. And Anurag is running at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour. All right? Okay? And we are moving in the same direction. Can you imagine that? I'm running at 30 kilometers per hour and Anurag at 20 kilometers per hour. So for a person who is watching us, who is not running but watching us, they would say, okay, in 1 hour, Abhishek has run 30 kilometers and Anurag has run 20 kilometers. All right. But from the perspective of Anurag, Abhishek would have run for only 10 kilometers. Do you understand that? कि अगर मैं 30 आगे गया तो अनुराग भी 20 आगे आया है ना, तो अनुराग के लिए मैं तो 10 ही चलाऊं, not 30. And that is why the speeds are getting subtracted. 30 minus 20. Looks good? Understood? Right? And in the opposite, I am running 30 in the east direction, Anurag at 20 in the west direction. Any person from any observer, third person would say, okay, they are running 30 and 20 each. But for Anurag and me, who are the part of the this activity, we would be running at 50 kilometers per hour with respect to each other, right? So there the speed will be added. It's very simple. It's common sense. पता है लोगों ने ना इसे difficult बना दिया, पता नहीं क्यों. Mathematics very 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 simple. Yeah, I'll repeat again. शुभम, चलो तुम्हें देख लेते हैं. शुभम, मान लो कि मैं भाग रहा हूँ 30 की स्पीड से, 30 किलोमीटर पर आवर, तुम भाग रहे हो 20 की स्पीड से, हम दोनों सेम डायरेक्शन में भाग रहे हैं. तो 1 घंटे बाद मैं तुमसे कितना दूर रहूँगा? 10, है ना? मैं भागा 30, तुम भागे 20. तो कह सकते हैं ना कि शुभम तुम्हारे रिस्पेक्ट में मेरी स्पीड 10 किलोमीटर पर आवर है. Speeds will be subtracted. But let's say I am running with 30 in the east, you are running at 20 in the west. 1 घंटे बाद तुम देखोगे पीछे मुड़ के मेरे को, तो मैं तुमसे 50 किलोमीटर आगे होऊंगा, तो तुम्हारे रिस्पेक्ट में मेरी स्पीड 30 + 20 हो जाएगी. Yeah, that makes sense, everyone. Okay, here, in this case, same and opposite. Let's understand. Same and opposite. यहाँ उल्टा हो जाएगा. ठीक है, पहले बात करते हैं अपोजिट की. चलो, तो किसको अब? श्रद्धा. श्रद्धा एक दिन मुझे बोलती है फ़ोन करके. श्रद्धा बोलती है कि सर पता है मैं रहती हूँ मुंबई में और मैं दिल्ली आ रही हूँ आपसे मिलने के लिए. मैं ठीक है आ जाओ. और बोलती मैं तैर के आ रही हूँ. ओके, श्रद्धा बोलेगी मैं तैर के आ रही हूँ. सो लेट्स अज्यूम देयर इज अ रिवर बिटवीन दिल्ली एंड मुंबई. असली में नहीं है, हाइपोथेटिकली लेट्स अज्यूम देयर इज अ रिवर. Shraddha calls me and she says, okay, sir, I'll be coming to you, meet you, and I'll be swimming. I said, okay, come, your wish. And she says that Delhi is 2,000 kilometers away from Mumbai, and I am swimming at a speed of 50 kilometers per hour. So I'll be meeting you exactly after 40 hours. I say, okay, cool, I'll be waiting. 40 hours later, I call her. She picks up the call. And she says, sir, I don't know, I've been swimming for the last 40 hours, but I have not moved a single inch. मैं जहाँ थी वहीं पे रह गई हूँ, है ना. मैं अंधेरी वेस्ट से पानी में कूदी थी और मैं वहीं पे अंधेरी वेस्ट में ही हूँ, एक कदम आगे नहीं बढ़ी, है ना. लोग आके मेरा मजाक उड़ा रहे हैं कि तुम क्या, ये कौन सी तैराक हो तुम, ये कौन सी स्विमर हो गई, तुम तैर ही नहीं पा रही हो. सो व्हाट मस्ट हैव हैपेंड टू श्रद्धा? एनीवन? हो क्या रहा था कि जो नदी थी वो दिल्ली से मुंबई की तरफ आ रही थी, ऑब्वियसली, क्योंकि दिल्ली के पास हिमालय है तो दिल्ली थोड़ा सा ऊपर है मुंबई से. ओके, सो हो गया रहा था कि द रिवर वॉज फ्लोइंग एट अ स्पीड विच इज इक्वल टू श्रद्धा स्विमिंग स्पीड, 50 किलोमीटर पर आवर. जितना वो आगे बढ़ रही थी नदी उतना ही उसे पीछे फेंक रही थी. दैट मीन्स इन अपोजिट the speed will be a minus b, where I'm assuming a is greater than b. If a is less than b, सोचो कमाल की बात और हो गई. जो इसका मजाक उड़ा रहा है मैं उसको उठाऊंगा. कौन है ये? कौन 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 कौन? जतिन. जतिन ने बोला कि सर मैं भी आ रहा हूँ. ठीक है, जतिन को पता गेम क्या हो गया, वो दिल्ली की जगह चेन्नई पहुँच गया. तो उसकी स्पीड जो थी वो रिवर की स्पीड से भी कम थी, तो बेचारा आगे जाने के लिए पीछे जा रहा था. ही वॉज स्विमिंग एट 20 किलोमीटर पर आवर, अल्टीमेटली -30 हो रहा था उसका. गॉट इट? तो ये भी हो सकता है. तो आगे वही बढ़ेगा जिसकी स्पीड रिवर की स्पीड से ज्यादा हो अपोजिट डायरेक्शन में. बट वी हैव रियलाइज्ड a minus b is the relative speed of a minus b. Opposite direction. The same direction will be a plus b, obviously. And you know what? Then I tell Shraddha, okay, you wait, I am coming to meet you. I just jump in the river and I just chill over there, okay? मैं जाके पानी में लेट जाता हूँ, जैसे बिस्तर पे लेटा हूँ, आराम से सोता हूँ, मस्त रास्ते में कोल्ड ड्रिंक पीता हूँ, समोसे खाता हूँ, 40 घंटे बाद पहुँच जाता हूँ. और मैं बोलूँगा मैं तो तैर भी नहीं रहा था, नदी के साथ खुद ही आ गया मैं. Do you understand that? So obviously you have understood. So direction is same, it is a plus b, opposite it is a minus b. By the way, in general terms, the same direction is called as, we call it downstream. Okay, we call this downstream. Anukul, लहरों के अनुकूल, opposite is pratikul, that is called as upstream. Why down and up? Because river flows in the direction of the land. Cool, all of you got that? चलो, let's go to the question now. अच्छा चलो बता दो, समझ में आ गया ना यार? कहीं भूलोगे नहीं जिंदगी में अब. तो भूलो सोचना कि तुम तैरते हुए जा रहे हो कहीं पे. मस्त पानी में लेटने का, दिल्ली में मुंबई पहुंच जाने का 40 घंटे में. चलो, लेट्स गो टू द क्वेश्चन नाउ. ऑल ऑफ यू मस्ट हैव गॉट इट नाउ. Anshul can row a boat in still water at 8 kilometers per hour. He decides to go boating in a river to row upstream. Upstream matlab against the stream. All right. He takes 5 hours and row downstream. He takes 3 hours. Find the speed of the river. ठीक है. So हम यहाँ क्या कर सकते हैं? जो डिस्टेंस था ऊपर जाने का, मान लो डिस्टेंस, let the distance be d kilometers. Okay. When I go upstream, my speed will be d upon 8 minus r. मैंने यहाँ पे रिवर की स्पीड को r kilometers per hour मान लिया है. That will be my upstream time, which is given as how much? 5 hours. For downstream, d upon 8 plus r, that is given as 3 hours. Is that clear, everyone? Okay, Jatin. Is that clear? That is the conventional approach, but what we have been doing till now, speed 1 upon speed 2. Here the relation is between speed and time. So speed 1 upon speed 2 will be time 2 upon time 1. So speed 1 upstream is 8 minus r, speed 2 is 8 plus r. This will be equal to time 2. That is 3, here will be 5. You can solve this and get the answer. Clear, everyone? Okay? Yeah, Daddy. I think the second approach is a better approach. Distance is same. Atharva. Exactly. That is why we have the relation. Is that cool? You can just cross multiply, get the answer, or you can, just be really smart and try to do something with this, ताकि रेशियो 3/5 आ जाए. 8 में क्या कम करूँ, क्या बढ़ा दूँ, कैसा रेशियो आ जाए. तो do you see that 3/5 is same as 6/10? Yeah? 6/10. And 6 is 8 minus 2 and 10 is 8 plus 2. I can compare these two values and I can say that r is equal to 2 kilometers per hour. Now, this kind of speed will be, you'll be having this speed once you have practiced a lot of questions. Okay, Samyak, I'll do that. All of you, is that clear? And do you want to, have this kind of speed when you can visualize things? 3/5 चाहिए, मैंने इसका डबल करके देख लिया 6/10. मैंने क्यों किया होगा? चलो ये समझते हैं. 8 में कुछ कम करने पे मेरे पास 3 आना चाहिए, बढ़ाने पे 5 आना चाहिए. हो ही नहीं सकता. 3 and 5 both are less than 8. So I took the second multiple of 3 and 5, that is 6 and 10. Right? 8 में कुछ कम करने पे 6 आना चाहिए, बढ़ाने पे 10 आना चाहिए. वो चीज़ 2 ही होगी. Without even cross multiplying and spending close to 10 seconds, they can do it just by 2 seconds by observation. Do you understand that or not? Everyone? Yes? Should I repeat this? I'll just repeat that part. 8 minus r upon 8 plus r is 3/5. Without cross multiplying, I want to, kind of solve this. So I can see that I have to reduce something from 8 and increase the same thing in 8. I should be 3 and 5. It's not possible, but 3 and 5 both less than 8. If you increase something, apart from more than 8, it must be greater than 8. So what I did, in place of 3/5, I wrote 6/10. बात तो सेम ही है, डबल कर दिया. अब सही लग रहा है. 8 में से क्या कम करूँगी, 6 आ जाए, क्या बढ़ाऊँगी, 10 आ जाए. So 8 minus 2 is 6, 8 plus 2 is 10. I'll have 2 here. Perfect. Now coming to Samyak's query. Samyak, the problem here is that the speed in itself is a variable. You need to add something and subtract something. That is why the LCM method is not working over here. Okay, Samyak? I hope you got that. ठीक है? That's the reason. All right. Because we don't know what is getting subtracted from 8. Let's say it was 1. So I'll be getting 7 and 9, where 7 is a prime number. Now the LCM will be 7 into 9. That's the problem. In this case, it was 6 and 8, 6 and 10. LCM would be 30 in this case. That is the reason. I hope you got that. Chalo. Now let's go to the next one. Here we go. Chalo. All of you, do it. Samek, then also we have no surety. You determine the LCM when you have constant values, like in the case of time and work. Otherwise, no. Let's do this. A man travels from his home to office at 8 km per hour, which is always 15 minutes late. Speed had been 10. He would have reached 12 minutes early. Find distance from his home to office. So speed 1 upon speed 2 must be equal to time 2 upon time 1. Speed 1 is 8. Speed 2 is how much? 10. This is the value. All right. Which means time 2 by time 1 is how much? 4 by 5. That's what we know. All right. What we have to calculate here? We have to calculate the distance from his home. What you guys are calculating? Is that clear, everyone? Now what to do? Can we play smart here and do something? Yes. How many people did it this way? So what can we see here? The difference is 1 unit. Now this 1 unit is equivalent to how much? Time. पहले ये 15 मिनट लेट था, अब ये 12 मिनट जल्दी है, so 1 minute is equal to 27 minutes. Right? Exactly. Cool now? Okay. So if 1 unit is 27 minutes, then what value? 5 units. The time 1 hai. Time 1 is 5 units, and 5 27, that is 135 minutes. So distance travel will be, speed 1 is how much? 8 kilometer per hour. 8 multiplied by 135 by 60. Is that right? Is that clear? Everyone? We can solve this. 4 2s are, 4 15s are, 15 9s are, 2 9s are 18 kilometers. And how many of you have done it this way? Is this way clear, everyone? रेशियो का 1 रियलिटी में 27 मिनट्स है, तो रेशियो का 5 रियलिटी में 5 × 27 हो जाएगा. चलो नेक्स्ट वन. Times taken by 3 sprinters to cover a race track are in the ratio 5:3. What will be the ratio of the speeds at which they cover the distance? अथर्व says A और B. ये कौन सी बात है अथर्व? कोई एक बताओ ना. Here, what is constant? Rosina, yes. Samyak, very good. What is constant here? The constant is distance. And we know speed and time are inversely proportional. That means if the ratio of the times is 5:3, ratio of speeds will be 1/5 is to 1/2 is to 1/3. Alright, now we can multiply by 30, the LCM. Let's multiply this by 30. LCM of 5, 2 and 3. So we get 5 6s are, 2 15s are, 3 10s are. 6 is to 15 is to 10. We have the option? No. We'll go with none of these. Chalo, very good. Nice. Next one. Okay, Samyak, attend the meeting. देखो सामने कितना डिसिप्लिन्ड है. Even in online class, before going, he's telling me, he's telling all of us, okay, we have a meeting, I have to go. Very good. Be like Samyak. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. So there's a train traveling at 60 kilometers per hour. Here we have 1 minute, there is 1 second, so मैं थोड़ा सा उसको मीटर पर सेकंड में कर लूँगा. There is a cyclist. The cyclist is coming over here, right? So this guy is coming, the cyclist in opposite direction with speed of 12 kilometers per hour. The direction is opposite, is case 1, independent bodies, so the relative speed in this case will be 60 plus 12. Right? 60 plus 12 multiplied by 5 by 18. Why I multiplied? To convert this to meter per second. Meter per second. Here it is 1 minute, that means 60 seconds. So I'll multiply this with 60. Now this is the length of the train. Is that right? Make sense? Anurag, yes, that's right. Is this clear, everyone? Okay? So if you solve it, you will 72 into 5 into 60 upon 18. 18 into 4 is 72. So 1200 meters is the length of the train. Is that right, everyone? All of you, is that clear? So train's length is 1200 meter. Now, what is happening? This train, whose length is 1200 meters, it is traveling and it reaches a platform. I'll make the platform with a different color. Platform यहाँ पे है, कुछ इसका length है. So the train crosses the platform in 120 seconds. While crossing the platform, total distance the train will be traveling. Let this be L. Let this be D. Let the length of the distance, the platform be D meters. So now the distance traveled by the train will be its own length plus length of the platform distance, and the speed is how much? 60 kilometers per hour. I can say 60 into 5 by 18. Biggest things are in meter, so I am converting to meter per second. So distance upon time must be, distance upon speed must be equal to time. That is 120 here. So let's solve this and get the answer. Is that clear, everyone? Kavishi, this is the last question. All of you got that? Tell me the answer now. We have to find the length of the platform. It must be 800 meters. That's the answer. Anurag, first you got 400. Sam, you got 2400, was wrong. Rosina, you also got wrong. Jatin, 700. Tanya, 2400. Shraddha, 2400. Why? Clear, all of you? So, this is the fundamentals of time, speed, and distance. If I summarize everything, what we learned today, we learned the art of using ratios in solving the basic and fundamental questions of time, speed, and distance. In a way, we can also say that ratios are the most fundamental, I would say, tricks, tips, whatever, to solve the questions of time, speed, and distance, which forms the major portion of arithmetic. Arithmetic itself is the major portion of quantitative aptitude. So see you in the next class. Day after tomorrow, I'll be having a session on averages, mixtures, and allegations, which is again a huge part of arithmetic. So tell me if you enjoyed the class, and tell me, did you learn some new techniques? Obviously, some people who are repeaters may be good in mathematics. For them, all these questions were a cakewalk. But in addition to it, the smart approaches that we learned, and would they be beneficial for you? Obviously, they will be. Just that you might re-watch the session if required, and be prepared till the next time we meet. All right, bye-bye. It was fun, yeah. Yes, that will be a great idea. Okay, Jatin. Thank you, everyone. Let's meet day after tomorrow.